Hey guys, thanks for tuning back into our channel. Today we're going to talk about an important topic that we think a lot of you women can relate to, and even younger viewers if you're watching. Just not to kind of beat up on yourself, and maybe advice that we would give to our younger selves.
Yeah, exactly. I just feel like a lot of you look up to us out there in our community even. There's several teenagers who talk to me all the time. They're like, I want to be like you when I grow up and stuff like that. But I just want to go over a few things just that we feel at, in our early 30s, we can advise people coming up to that age at least.
Yeah, so for me personally, I think the first thing that I would give advice to my younger self about is not to beat up on yourself so much. Like, image is like this big thing these days, and people are always concerned about what's in the media and what they should look like, and
the perfect Instagram photos of your life, or even literally like opening presents on holidays, and it's a lot of pressure, I feel like.
Yeah. Another thing that I would talk about is trusting your gut. I know sometimes we get in relationships and we're like, oh, it doesn't feel right, and most of the time if it doesn't feel right, it isn't right. Like if you have that intuition saying,
if you have to question anything, usually that should be your first hint that it's not right.
Absolutely. Also, I think in my 20s, I spent a lot of time getting to know somebody else instead of myself. And I feel like that's affected who I am now as a person, because I didn't get to enjoy, being 21, 22, so on and so forth. I was so concerned about what that person would like and what that person was into and how I can please that person. And it took away from me. It took away from what I like to do and what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be as a person.
With me, I guess how I was raised, everybody else comes first. And that traveled over into my dating life, my school life, my everything.
Social life.
Everything. I feel like it's just more recently that I've started to learn to take more time for myself or put myself first in some situations so that I don't get burned. And think about it, I'm almost 32. How long it's taken me to realize this, and I just would hate for more of you out there to go through that, because that's just terrible.
Yeah, it's like, take time out for yourself and enjoy and do things that you want to do. If you want to go get your nails done, go do it. If what makes you happy is going for a bike ride, or going to the gym and working out, do
writing, music, whatever it might be. Definitely. It's always worth it, no matter how trivial or stupid you might feel like it is.
Sorry. Another thing that I want to talk about is the father aspect. So growing up, my father was a non-factor. Thankfully, my grandparents kind of took over, and I didn't feel like I was that much of a loss, but still that question of who's my dad, where is he, what's he like, that kind of thing. So I just kind of want to say, like, if you've been brought up in a single home with your mom and you don't know who your dad is, and don't let that play a part in your relationships, because not knowing who your father is, I know sometimes you feel like you have to get attention from anybody who gives it to you, like any man that gives it to you, and it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, sometimes it's negative. I can't relate to that, but I know I had a pretty strict dad growing up, and it affected me, and just always like what I mean? Like back to what we were saying, just questioning myself constantly and not developing who I was. And I love him and everything's fine, but it's like in the end you have your life to live, and it's very important to know who you are, what you like, what you don't like, before even getting in a relationship or something, because it will affect you, will come up, because you're going to be living with someone, you're going to be having kids with them, raising them. There's a lot of, I think sometimes it's you don't realize how serious things are while you're going through them, because you're busy having fun or whatever. But it's very important to take that time out for yourself and not feel bad. Like, I have friends who are not married yet, and they're like, I'm like depressed and I wish I was, in your shoes. I'm like, girl, get it. Like, do what you need to do.
Yeah, and don't, and that's that kind of like a spin off of that. Like, don't look at what other people are doing and wish that for yourself. Yeah. If you want that for yourself and truly want that in your heart, then you can make it happen. But don't look at, well, somebody's in a relationship, so I want to be in a relationship. No, get to know yourself, get to enjoy the things that you enjoy, and then that way when you are in a relationship, you know who you are as a person, and that person can accept you for who you are, because you're not trying to be someone that you're not.
And yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'd also say invest time in yourself as far as your education goes when you're younger. It's okay to have fun. I highly encourage it. I just think it's very important to reflect on your hobbies and your strengths, especially your weaknesses, just as highly you should think about it, just to decide, what do you want to do when you grow up? What do you want to, how will everything you've learned thus far in your life, how will that culminate into something you can, put out there and help the world with? I mean, I never thought I would do this, and I used to be like, why did I go to college if I was just going to do this? Like, I should have just gone to cosmetology school or whatever. But literally, I meet people, my clients are up through like literally 80 years old, and some of my youngest ones have been 6. Me being a mother, having learned what I learned in college, all the social skills and the different professors and perspectives, I can literally have a conversation with anybody about anything, I feel like. I mean, I always love to soak it in. I love to listen to people, but I think college isn't just about
education,
learning, what you're learning. There's so much more you learn there, and I think even if you do a couple of classes, if that's all you can afford or it's not for you, I just think for me it was a very enriching experience.
It was a learning curve.
Yeah,
absolutely,
for sure. That's where I learned more about myself and just how to talk to people and stuff and find myself.
Yeah, because now you can, like you said, address people with in all walks of life and kind of relate to that person. Even if you personally can't relate to them, you'll have a better understanding of who they are maybe and what they're about just by dealing with a whole bunch of other people.
And comforting people.
Other than your family.
It's a lot of my job too, being able to if someone's down on themselves or they're going through something, you're walking into people's homes and stuff like that. So for me, it's very important to be able to calm everybody down. They're already going to feel really good once they look in the mirror, but it's just knowing how to talk to different types of people. I don't know, that's probably one of the biggest things I learned.
And then feeling good once they look in the mirror, that's another thing. You should feel good about who you are and be comfortable in your own skin.
Yes.
If you don't like what you see in the mirror, if you're like, oh, I feel like I'm overweight or whatever, you have the choice to do something about it. If you feel that going to the gym might, be better for you, then do that. Don't wait for somebody else to say, oh, you've overweight.
Right.
And then you're like, okay, now I need to go to the gym. But if you're comfortable with being the size that you are, be comfortable and own it. Mm-hmm. Don't let anybody else tell you that you need to be this, like a stick, or you need to be like this or whatever, because I know that can damage your ego and your confidence in the long run. Mm-hmm. I went through that personally for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Just people telling me
you're too fat, you're too skinny, or you're perfect. Don't lose or gain any weight, and it's no pressure.
Yeah. Or you put on a lot of weight and then you're like, oh, I have, and you may not think that you have, and other people are saying it to you, but I felt comfortable in my skin, and then you start to feel uncomfortable because people are saying those things. But if they're telling you, you don't look this way, or you whatever, tell them to kick rocks.
If you're comfortable, you're gonna be like, I'm fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why don't you worry about you?
Yeah.
Do what you want to do.
What about you, boo? Do you, boo? Do you? Another thing too would be not to burn your bridges. So anybody that you come in contact with, whether it be an employee or employer, or even a family member, if you don't like what they're doing or you don't like what they're saying, that's okay. You can respectfully decline their opinion, but you don't need to X that person out of your life forever, or make them feel any type of way just because you don't like what they have to say or how they feel about something.
I've made up with, I think, almost everybody I've ever had a huge falling out with. Mm-hmm. It makes me feel better when people say that hating someone or being angry affects you more than it affects the other person, or that your forgiveness is more about yourself, it's not about the other person. It's so true. It took me a long time to realize that, and because you see it around, I love cutting people out or whatever. We all do, right? You should do that to make sure you're okay, but if it's not very much making you feel clean and good afterwards, then I think it's very worth it to go ahead and apologize or make amends with whoever it might be, a boss, whoever it might be. Yeah, because you don't want to leave the impression, a negative impression. You still want to leave a positive impression because you never know when you're going to need that person again. Yeah. I mean, I broken up with one of my friends for a couple of years, and I found myself very alone, but I was like, you know what? She was like a sister to me, and I really miss her. And our fight was stupid.
Absolutely.
So I reached out to her. I mean, ego aside, I was like, girl, I know you probably hate me, or you're probably still mad at me if you are. Maybe you're not, but I love you, and I miss you, and we shared too much to just throw this away. Yeah, like, this is too much. So I just... And here, we're like BFFs all over again. I love her.
Aww, that's so sweet.
But it's just that you just never know, you know? It's not about like using people or anything. It's just everybody enriches your life, whether it's a positive or negative experience. And you should, that's everything. The experience is what you should really squeeze out of everything you go through.
Yeah, I can't remember who said this to me, and I don't know, it's not them, like somebody else quoted it, but like everybody comes into your life for a reason or a season. And even the people that are seasonal, you can still learn something and take something from that. And then the people who are there for a reason, you know, those are the people that will support you regardless of what you're going through or whatever trials and tribulations that you have to overcome. And you need to really kind of welcome those experiences so that you can grow as a person, because those are the things and those are the people that are really going to take you and push you to the next level in life.
And I think I was guilty of it. I was like, I graduated college.
Yeah, like,
I don't need this shitty job. I don't need this low level whatever.
Yeah.
But I wasn't ready for like some high paying job of managing people or what. No.
Yeah.
I still had to learn how to work a printer, for God's sake. Like, or Microsoft Office. Like, there's so much. I think just every job, whether you're in retail, fast food, whatever, you learn a lot. And you should really treat everything as a learning experience to build who the best person you are trying to be currently and in the future.
Like even if like fast food, for instance, like, you know, for me, my first job was McDonald's.
Okay.
And like, for me, it taught me how to be punctual, how to be a dependable employee, you know, how to relate to customers and talk to people with all, you know, from all walks of life, and, you know, just how to interact with people.
Deal with angry people.
Absolutely.
That's a really hard skill to deal with.
Yeah, because unfortunately, there's a lot of angry people walking around right now. And you have to learn that, you know, most of the times they're not angry with you specifically. They're angry at a situation. So you have to take yourself out of it and not take it personally. And
they're not coming for you. Like, if anything, sometimes just a little bit of love or happiness or a smile will totally turn their day around.
Way. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, I'm known to smile at people for no freaking reason. But I don't know. For me, I guess I'm a people pleaser. I love when other people react positively to just little. I mean, it doesn't do anything to me to like smile at someone or give them a compliment, like a complete stranger. It doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt me.
Just to be pleasant. I hope that you guys can take some pointers from what we've talked about today.
I know today's topic was a lot more serious.
It was a lot more intense, but I think it's important, you know, because I feel like not even just our younger selves and our younger viewers. I think a lot of people, even in our age group and even older, can relate to the things that we've talked about today.
Like we do the same job, but her perspectives are so much different than mine, and vice versa. So hopefully we can touch more of you out there, because there's two of us talking about this stuff. So.
Absolutely. So until next time, don't forget to subscribe, like our video, and please share. We love you guys.
Thank you so much. Bye.